How about HIMS? Everything's pushing pre-market. So the sell-off yesterday to inverse the move that we had with CPI. Pretty nice. There we go. We got that dragged all the way over where it should be. What's going on, Leo? How you doing? All right. Nah, whatever. I was gonna get a sweatshirt on. I'm a little chilly. Watching this nice bounce. Yeah, we are having a really good move off CPI right now. Feeling a little festive today. Let's get the alert out. Then we'll get into breaking down pre-market analysis. It's supposed to be 54 here tomorrow, wall dive, which is unheard of for Maine during this time of the year. Yep, that's what we have tomorrow. All right, so we're shot up right into that resistance that we had yesterday. I'm going to go get a sweatshirt real quick. I'm a little chilly. All right, we're all set now. 54 is a nice day in Florida. Yeah, I bet you never get something that cold. All right, so getting right into today, we'll pull up our Edgeful stats, see what we have for bias. We have a 1.46% gap up, so I'm going to start the day without even looking at the data. No need to. I'm still going to pull it up, but I just know gap fill by size, for a gap this size, we have like a 10% chance, if that, of having a fill. This is on Qs. This is a 1.46, so it's in the fifth bracket. We have a 100% chance of not filling this on ES. I think SPY is only 0.84. So we'll go to that fourth bracket. This one has a 67% chance of getting filled there. And then for Qs, a gap of this size, 20% chance. If we get up a little bit more pre-market, so we have another 0.4%, which is only 30 cents from where we are right now. That will give us a 50. That's weird. That's over 6 months. If we go to the 3 to 5 year time frame, this should be a lot better. So we have a 12% chance of filling this gap up right now, and 10% if it was in the 1 to 1.49. So bias into today, strictly bullish. We should pretty easily remain bullish for the entirety of today. CPI came in at, we'll go ahead and pull up Lucid. I am locked up for Lucid. We're going to have some fun with the stream today. If anyone has referral codes for Apex, get those ready because I will be using them. Oops, got rid of the wrong, whatever. I'm not trading on this today anyway. So we had CPI this morning. CPI came in at 2.6%. Forecast was 3%. So we had a phenomenal beat on CPI, 10.2 for the business index, and then for month over month on CPI, 0.15%. Estimate was 0.3. Again, really, really good beats all the way around. And then for jobless claims, we also had those coming in at 224,000. So 4 out of 4 beat on CPI, jobless claims, month over month CPI, business index. And then we don't really have anything else for today, thankfully. We have some speakers throughout the day. We had some decent reads on the China or Japan data points last night. And then we have Japanese CPI tonight at 6:30. So that will be another significant one. 1.47% now. So the closer we get to that 1.5, the better it is for having a bullish bias maintaining into today's price. What's going on intraday? So both SPY and Q's not anticipating a pullback. This kind of makes sense for why we dropped as much as we did yesterday. We're now over 1.5%. So depending on how we hold this into the opening move or the opening candle, rate hike for Japan at 10 p.m. tonight. Ooh. Depending on how we hold this move into open, that will dictate what we do for this gap fill stat. It's the difference between 0.2%. So either way, we should maintain upside. Now we are also within yesterday's range. It's a pretty important note here. Our target for today should theoretically be up to either 615 or all the way back down to 600. Combining that fill, inside bar stat, with the gap fill report, knowing that we have only a 10% chance. I know I've switched back to the 6-month time frame, but we just looked. Only a 10% chance of having this gap up fill. We should be targeting up to 615. Sorry, not 609. 609 is where we are right now. We should be targeting up to 615. So if we go out and draw in our previous day's 50, that is also going to be our inside bar range. I'm going to get rid of those. I don't need those on for right now. And I'll cover what happened yesterday with those as well. So that is our inside bar range right there. What I'd like to see into open is a move down, hit previous day's 50, then pop back up to 615. That will fulfill our inside bar stat. 76% chance that we get to either previous day's high or previous day's low. And then gap fill stat, not looking for any downside there. I have seen quite a few times where we've had a move this large already into open. We'd have to move up another 1% to get up to that 615. So we'd have a 2.5% day on a Thursday with CPI. Could happen, probably not all that likely. So I would not doubt if we stayed within today's range. What I did like seeing this morning is we've already taken out that Newswick high, which was at 609.21. So if we get a close at 609.21 right here, that would probably be a retest back down for a significant level and then anticipate upside if we get that prior to hitting that previous day's 50. So all this will be dictated by the opening candle. We are currently in this consolidation zone from yesterday. Honestly, a really good looking move for us to have continued upside. We just have to try to wait for a pullback, wait for a reset, get into that price, get into trend, and continue pushing to the upside. For individuals, exact same thing that I just covered. 2% move up on Tesla. Nvidia, I think we're at 3% right now. 2%, sorry. So all these ones, very slim chance that they have a fill of the gap up that they made. SPY, very slim chance we have a fill of this gap up. Inside bar stat on SPY as well. So we will go ahead and also fix this indicator real quick. I'm going to cover what happened with the extension yesterday. Draw that down. There is our previous day's 50, also the inside bar stat range. So we are currently bouncing right off previous day's 50. That's nice to see for SPY. And then our London 50 is quite a large range as well for both SPY and Qs. London 50 low on Qs is all the way down at 602. And that is accurate because that's where we were trading all the way last night. Go and look at MNQ. Our 1 o'clock open was all the way down at 24,950. And that should line up with where Qs was for last night's session as well. So really good looking morning to have continued upside. This should also be a pretty good shift in sentiment for at least some time. If we go to the 24-hour, we are retesting up into that previous trend, but given that we only had one data point on that, it's easy enough for us to go and alter that and say we do continue bouncing. Then we can confirm that this is the new trend line bottom. I'm going to go ahead and delete the text for that because we already filled that previous day in London gap, so we don't have a reason to have that validated on there. That's just going to be a resistance level. So we need to get back up to 629.09 and then continue further past that. Right now on both SPY and Qs, the reason that we had that continuation yesterday, the continuation down, we had a miss of, and I'll go and pull it up on the Trader Hub here. Can I go to yesterday? Previous. It's not gonna let me go to yesterday. Just take me for my word here. We had a miss of like 3 million barrels on crude oil inventories yesterday. That's the reason that we had that 1030 drop of $4. And if we go, and I love looking at how rare days can be. If we go to IB buy levels for Qs, and we go to a Wednesday breakdown day, it has changed a little bit because we didn't make that expansion. But yesterday, if you guys recall, this was a 24% chance that we went to 1 standard deviation and a 4% chance that we went to 4% chance we went to 1.5. It's now 27 because we did end up hitting that stat. That was a very uncommon move that we made yesterday. We went all the way down to 1.5, stopped just before 2, right before close. But this continuation sucks because we were in shorts at all the way up here at 611. I think the entrance into those shorts was 611.20. Closed them out at like 609. So we caught a 40-point move, really happy with that. And then we saw it continue another 360 points. So on the one MNQ we had we rode the whole move down, would have been like a $800 play. It's going to happen. And when it does happen, just going to tip your hat to it. It's very uncommon that we make a continuation that large. And then if we go to today's chance of this, I'm going to guess that today's going to have a break up day. So I'm going to switch the stat to that. It's going to be a breakout for a Thursday. This is our chance of continuing higher today after we form the initial balance. So this one's even lower than what we had yesterday. It's only a 1 in 3 chance that we have a half a standard deviation hit, and just below a 1 in 12 chance that we have a 1 standard deviation hit. And that's just a guess. Obviously, we don't have the initial balance formed yet, but I'm expecting a continuation of upside. I don't think we're going to fill this entire pre-market gap. Only half of the move that we had pre-market was off CPI. The other half was just organic price action right before open. So nothing of significance there. Any questions from you guys for the morning? Good morning, Mahatty, Jeff, Fola Diamond, Eddie, Phil, Rebo, Roland, Terrence, Zaza. I already said good morning to you, Wall Dive. You don't get to. So we're over the CPI or the 4-hour fair value gap on NQ now, which is nice. I'll pull that up. The 4-hour time frame. Draw this back down to where it was. We're over the one that we formed on Monday this week. And we're well over 50% of it as well. So if we can get through, well, actually, we just inversed the 4-hour fair value gap. We should have a nice continuation up for the next couple of weeks. If this holds today, that is. If this holds. So this is all the way up at 25,290. This is the fair value gap we formed yesterday, not the Monday one. And now we have to get back up to 25,395 and then past that 25,505 once we have a nice continuation up to those levels. Why so many lines on the chart? I don't have that many lines on my chart, do I? Oh, those are all the standard deviations from yesterday. This is what my chart usually looks like. Probably not. Probably won't be trading the open candle. Yeah. Yep. Sorry about the keyboard. What's the overall bias in Edgefield today? It's going to be bullish for today. We have a very, very slim chance that we have the gap filled down or the gap fill to the upside get filled. It's sitting at 20% over the past 6 months. And then if we go to the 3-year time frame, I'll even pull it up to the 5-year time frame. This is currently a 1.5%. Depends on where we open. It's going to be between the 5th and 6th bracket anyway. We either have an 11% chance of this gap getting filled or we have an 18% chance. So very small likelihood that we have a continuation. Sorry. Very small chance that we have a reversal of this move. Very small chance. So I'll be looking for, probably just going to be looking for previous days 50 on both SPY and Qs. Something like that. That will get us down to previous days 50. For SPY, we have a whole bunch of levels to catch us if we do start trending down. Something to watch for today. Just message your buddy, look at him through his Bloomberg terminal. I refuse to look at gold. I'm not looking at it. Not looking at it. All right. Nothing else I'm going to be taking a look at. I can't speak today. Nothing else I'm going to be taking a look at for stats. We're looking at the same likelihood of a gap up filled for Tesla, Nvidia, SPY, Qs, really whatever individual you want. MSTR even, I bet that has stats for having this gap filled. It's a 4% gap up on MSTR. If we go over to this ticker here, for our gap fill stat, 1.5%, we only, and this is way over 1.5%, it's a 4% gap up. We only have a 1 in 3 chance of this filling, and that's over the past 5 years. So very likely that we have a continuation. We just need to make sure that we get in on a retest. So we're sitting at 1.54%. It's very minor. It's a very small difference on the 1.5% or 1.49. It's only 6% chance or 7% chance difference that we get this filled. Either way, it's very slim that we have a move down. So we are going to maintain an upside bias unless proved otherwise in open. So if you guys have any Apex referral accounts, I'm going to try to get this set up. I should have done it earlier this morning, but we're going to have a little fun on stream today. I did end up getting that Lucid payout last night. So go over to Lucid Trading. And this was just off a continuation of that overnight move. And all the reactions, we had like 7 reactions at that psych level, 25,000. Go to my portal here. Really doesn't give away too many details. So these are all qualified for a payout. I just need to wait until market close, sadly. And this is pretty much all thanks to the the Edgeful data. The main profit day, that 13,000, man, I'm struggling today. The $1,300 profit day, that was off of the IB break that we had on, it was one of the ones that we had a 200-point range. We never broke it, and then I ended up taking, I think it was Monday, honestly. So we had that retracement all the way back up. Even though we didn't break this one, we still trended towards the downside, and this was like a 400-point range on the IB, 609 up to 618. So just half of it was 200 points. And that was with 2 or 4 MNQ, I don't remember. And then yesterday, we had that IB break. Or not yesterday, Tuesday, sorry. We had the IB break. Wednesday, same thing. We had a really nice continuation down, even though we only made him 130. Still counted as a nice winning day. So I'll be requesting those later today. I got these accounts before the Lucid Flex came out. Lion. These ones were like 18 trading days. Barring that we also had 2 outages this week on Project X that I wasn't able to trade. Well, we did trade yesterday, but we didn't take a loss from it. And then Tuesday kind of screwed me over a little bit. So if any of you guys, I know we have Steve in here. Roland probably has one. If anyone at all has a referral code or an affiliate code for Apex, I'm going to go and use those when we buy the accounts. And then I'll get it linked up to TradingView right now. Check out weekly range stat on ES. We broke weekly low, which means we shouldn't break the weekly highs. Okay. So that is this low that we made right here, 600. Oh, it's on Qs. What stat is it? Weekly range. What's the name for the report? Performance by weekday, opening week range. I'm assuming it's this. Broke opening week high, broke opening week low, broke both opening week high and low, stayed inside opening week range. Okay. Yeah, I'll do some looking into that later on SPY. There we are. We're open. We opened at 1.52. So we are looking at this stat right here, 11% chance that we have this gap up filled, and this is over 5 years of data. This has happened, a gap up of this size has happened 62 times. We've only filled it 7 times. So we will be looking for a nice continuation today. Hopefully we get some kind of pullback. Probably not going to be trading this opening candle. It is already $1 in the first couple of seconds. We'll get a move at 609.21. That's the data highs. And we'll get a move at previous day's 50. If this candle closes where it is right now, we'll get a move at London high. And then if not, if all else fails, then we're going all the way back up to 615 because that is the inside bar stat being targeted. Tesla's all the way back up to 480. MSCR is back up to 170. NVIDIA's back up to 174. Wicked up to 175 right there. So we should see a nice continuation today. How about bull? That one, it's all right. It's not too bad. It was a really, really good CPI report. Extremely good. Nice beat. All right. After we get this retest, I'm going to be looking for, honestly, we'll get up to 613. That will be a good price target. Previous day's IB. We just rejected off of this little consolidation zone that we had from yesterday's open. 4-hour chart should be looking extra bullish. We have this fair value gap that we just inversed. Depends on where this candle closes. We have 11 minutes left on it. So no rush to get into a trade, especially with this large of a range. Leo just hit a really good trade. 48 points on probably 5 NQ. Okay, let's get some Apex caps. 861. It's holding its upside move. SPY had a little bit better of an open than Q's did. Q's opened below London high. SPY opened above it, or in line with it. Sorry. SPY's range is a little bit better. 681, $4 move continuation versus Q's. We have to move up another 6. You just use the basic save now. You don't have an affiliate code. Okay. IB high form first so far, even though we're only 4 minutes into open. Go and buy some of these and get it connected. Apex Trader Funding. It will not let me log in. Wonder what's going on there. I'll scratch that. We'll just do the long and short orders on the TradingView chart today. You can also look at Lucid for any cycles we might have. We will have 25.2, 25.3, which we got a small reaction at on 25.3. 25.2 is pretty much the 50% mark of that move up from the data. So that might be a nice cycle level to bounce off of. Let's see, we got plenty of time. Wonder if Ike got his wonder if he got his move on CPI that he usually gets. What are you using to copy trade or to copy from TradingView? I don't have anything on here. I need some help with the Apex accounts. You can copy trade them on Tradeovate, or can you also copy trade them on TradingView? I'm not entirely sure. I'm new to trading on Apex and TradingView. I will be leaving Project X behind because of how many outages they had this week. It was real bad. But while I have these accounts, I only need one more payout to go live on Lucid, I believe. So once I get, it's 5 $50 days and I'll be moved live. I have like 17,000 just about in equity on these 25Ks. So I should be able to pull that full amount out once I get moved live. And then I think they're going to move me live on Tradeovate, and then we can trade that on TradingView once it's linked. Copy within Tradeovate, pretty easy. Wasn't sure about how copy executing from TradingView. Oh, you link it to down here. You link Tradeovate on TradingView, and then it links it to this chart. This is how I used to trade futures way back when I first started. The downside to it is the market orders have a stupid amount of slippage on them, but the limit buys and limit sells, which is what I usually do, are fine. Pretty nasty rejection right there. We can go down to smaller percent chances. Like what are the odds that we fill 50% of this gap? This is over a 5-year time frame. 23% chance we fill 50% of it. We'll even go down to, say we fill 20% of the gap. What are the odds there? 50-50. So it's very unlikely that we have this entire move down get filled. Could try a long at London 50 right now with a pretty short stop loss as well. Previous days 50, sorry, not London 50. That's previous days 50 hitting right now. If we end up going and filling this gap, it's not that the data is wrong. It just means that it's a very small chance that we do go and fill it, and we got unlucky today in doing so. It has happened before. It's happened 7 times, so it's not like it's never happened. It's just very rare when we have this size of a gap. So this would be, I would say this is a decent long off of previous days 50 right there. And then stop loss would be like 30-ish points. And target would be back to the high. I think that would be a good entry on previous days 50. Pretty nice bounce so far. We're also bouncing out 25-2, so that's a psych level holding. Let's see how that plays out. Thank you, Anthony. Cover trade only works on Trade Debate, not Trading View. Shoot. I wonder, could I use Trade Syncer? Does that work? Not sure. I'll probably try that. This is looking good for a short now because we had the IB high form first, so it's slightly shifted the trend to the downside. I don't need this by the 5-year time frame. I need it by 6 months. As long as previous days 50 holds, this should hold up to be a nice-ish trade. If not, then we have London 50 right there to catch it. This would be like a dollar stop underneath previous days 50. 25-2 is 10 points away right now. That should still hold. Apex isn't letting me log in, so I don't know why. I signed up yesterday. We did the confirmation email and everything too. I do not know what the issue there is. If this candle closes underneath, then that would also be a stop loss, an early stop prior to letting it hit the full drawdown. It's based on where this 15-minute closes on previous days 15. You have to log on to TradeAvate sign agreement before you can use the accounts. I don't even have any accounts yet. I'm just trying to log into Apex's platform. It's not working. This would be a 3.2R. Not that I ever use R on trades. I just enter and exit room and profit. One too many parameters to be worried about. Holding previous days 50 right now. That's also 50% of the news wick right there. So we have quite a few confluences lining up right now. And this is a very small pullback, but we have that gap fill by Siastat screaming to the upside. And this would be the pullback that we would want to take an entry on. I don't know if we'll get more than what this pullback is. For the price target, the reason I have it at the high we want to take a new IB high for it to have a continuation to the upside. And that's the IB by rejection. Go to this stat once it loads. Still only on 6 months. I don't know why it's taking so long. IB by rejection for a Thursday. Oh, Thursdays stink. So if the highs form first, we have a... Why is it taking so long to load today? The highs form first, we only have a 53% chance of breaking the low. And then if the lows form first, we have an 82% chance of taking the high. And this is right at previous day's 50. It's about to close underneath. I believe I have it drawn incorrectly, which I do. If it closes over, then we're fine. If it closes underneath, then it's a closure on that trade. I don't think we have any data coming out either. Closed over. Market watch, Thursday, no other data coming out today. So this should be A-okay. I think you can almost get that stop move to break even. $25.2 held as well. I am not in this trade now. I'm locked out for the day. I was going to link TradingView to Apex, but it doesn't seem to want to work for me right now. Do I want to go with Apex? This is a question for everyone in here. Do I want to go with Apex or Take Profit Trader? Could even do TradingView as well. Not TradingView, Tradeify, the select accounts that they just released with daily payouts. Not sure. TPT gets your vote. TPT. Okay. The reason I want, I can show one state, that's cool. The reason that I want to get, there we go, we're getting a really nice bounce now. The reason I want to get Apex is because I'm just going to do 1 to 2 MNQ, aim for $100 day. I have a lot more success with that as opposed to going with like 5 MNQ or 6 MNQ and sizing up over 5 accounts. So the power is going to come from trading on 20 accounts as opposed to trading on 5 or even 10. So I would say probably, and that was a 35-point bounce, so that would be up 100 on 2 MNQ. You can go ahead and move that stop to break even or just below it. Did I mess it up? I don't ever use these long or short positions. There we go. So that's where it was set previously. I'll leave that up for that would be from entry, that would be a 40-point trade, 35, 40-point trade. And that would be the reaction I was looking for off of previous day's 50. Pretty good bounce there. If we were trading based on the inside bar stat, we still want it to go up to that new high, all the way up to 610.96. This is going to be quite a ways. 607 to 610.96 is, that's the range on this opening candle. So we're looking at a 150 point range, be 75 points from high to low. Passed another eval, but hit my tight DLL on my fundeds. Sorry about that. So we can go ahead and get rid of that trade anyway. That would be the reaction I would be looking for. And even if the stop was moved to break even, that was a risk-free one. And now what we'd be looking for is price to catch at London 50 and then proceed up from there. Maybe take a new high at the IB. If not, if the IB stays as it is right now, we can both fulfill the gap fill stat. And I will go and pull up the initial balance by rejection reports, or IB by levels actually, and we'll go to a Thursday for, let's say we break down, we have a drop, then we will only have a 50-50 chance of going to half standard deviation. So we can still fulfill that gap fill stat of not filling the gap if we take the IB low. And then the size of the IB right now, half a standard deviation would still be within the current gap that we have right now. So the gap would not fill even if we have a continuation past the IB. It's only a 50-50 chance that we have a move down to 0.5, 1 in 3, 1 in 5, and then 1 in 10. That's a really nice sweep at previous day's 50 and 75-ish% of the CPI move. TPT. A lot of people like TPT. Getting a really nice push off previous day's 50. All right, so we'll do, while we have a little downtime right now, we'll do one of the giveaways within the Discord here. What do I want to make for this one's going to be, I liked what Brett Simba did, so we're going to do a little trivia for it. Or not trivia, but a little puzzle solving. Oh, my phone's only on 1. Yeah. It's going to die. Try going on TradeBait platform and under add-on mark or add-on make sure sharing with TradingView on. It's not that I can't get it on TradingView. It's the fact that it's not letting me log into Apex's platform. We're getting a really nice bounce off of previous day's 50, and now we want to see it go all the way back up to 610.96. 610.96 is what we want to see. That was a really nice long. Be 50 points now. Actually, a little bit more than that. Previous day's 50 is the bottom of this candle. So 25,196, about 60 points on that bounce. We want price to go and make a new IB high, and then that will fulfill the IB stat being bullish. But this was a really good ad. We got to 50% of the IB. Anyone happen to hold that long? Really want price to go all the way back up to 610.96. That's the current high for 610.94. That's the current high for today. Once we get through that, then we have a continuation up. Over 50% of the IB now. I was using the previous day's 50 dab. That's why we took a bounce right there. Didn't hold, closed at $300 TP. There you go, Ron. Very good. Very good. That was a perfect bounce off previous day's 50 on the 15-minute. And this is also, I get asked this all the time. 5-minute time frame as opposed to the 15-minute time frame. Why do I use the 15-minute and not the 5-minute? The 5-minute, it's kind of like pick your poison with it. The 5-minute does offer a few better entries here and there, I will admit. Yesterday would have been a great entry at 50% of the IB. For the 15-minute time frame for today, never close below that previous day's 50. This is the level that we're taking a look at here. 5-minute time frame, we had that little dinky candle at 9:45 close below. That would have been a stop out, and then we would have missed this entire move up right here. But this is a beautiful bounce, and this is also lining up perfectly with our gap fill stat, which is why that we're not expecting any downside today. We're not expecting a continuation down. We're looking at, I hate that over the past 6 months it says 50-50. That means we've only had two. Of course, we've had one of them fill. But we have a very slim chance of filling this gap. I'm going to keep referring to that today. Now that we're going up to making that IB high, we're looking for price to pull back to wherever 50% is. Might not get it because of where London high is. We'll look for something like this once the IB forms. We should very easily go and take a new high out. Nope. 6-7. What the hell? Nice trade. Thank you. Thank you. I don't remember where the original stop loss was. I can redraw it, and I know it was $1 below. So let's see if we would have stayed in. It was $1 below previous day's 50. Oops, that's a short position. Long position, target was up to that high, and the stop loss was set at $1. Would we have stayed in? We would have if we had left it where the original stop loss was. So that was the original trade thesis right there off of previous day's 50. Stop loss was set at $1 below, which was about 35 points. Going over to Project X, entry was right at 25,193. Would have been 35 points, which we would have stayed in by 1 point. And then TP is going to be set all the way up there. So that was the trade that we had. What do I trade, M and Q or Qs? I use Qs to chart because there's no slippage on QQQ. Or there is still slippage on the chart, but it's not nearly as much as there is on M and Q. If you guys have watched M and Q or NQ for any significant amount of time, there is quite a large divergence in the NQ and QQQ chart, even though they're the same thing. And that is because sometimes, especially during low liquidity hours, like at night or this entire month of December, you'll have wicks that don't really look like they should have happened. Like I can almost guarantee that this one that happened at 8:30 probably wasn't that real of a wick. That was 2 days ago. Never mind, it did happen on Qs as well. Bad example there on my part, but you get the point that I'm trying to make. So this was the thesis for that previous day's 50 entry. Target's going to be up to that high because we want to make a new IB high to go and take the IB by rejection stat to the upside. We do not want to take any downside plays today. We want a continuation to the upside because of the gap fill by size report. So going to a Thursday, we want the low to form first as well, which it has. Low is formed second, actually. We want to go and take out a new high. We need to push another 90 cents from where we are right now. Incorrect, Jeff. I'm going to go and use that gap fill by size report again. Go back to the 5-year time frame. Sorry about the keyboard. I need to get a quieter one. So my target is going to be, what I'm going to be looking for is 610.96. Once we get up to that level, we're going to switch our bias. Right now, it technically is bearish because we made the high of the IB first. Excuse me. Look for 610.94. Once we take that level, we're switching to an upside break on the IB. As it stands right now, we're looking for a downside break. This is taking quite a while to develop. SPY's looking a lot better. SPY's just about at its IB high. SPY would have been a stop out regardless. It closed below previous day's 50 on the 15-minute. A little unfortunate there if you were trading that, but same concept on SPY and Qs. Kind of like this 5-minute candle as well, 5 and 15-minute. As long as we hold over 50% of the IB, it should hold rather well. God, this keyboard is so loud. I need to get one of those quiet. Nice and quiet ones like I have on my laptop. Slowly taking its time here. SPY is looking a lot better than Qs. But SPY should 40 cents off taking the IB high, and then that will also change up what we're expecting for today. Qs is looking a little weaker. SPY is also over previous highs on those, both the news wicks that we had, 677.52, and then the following one, 677.39. So you're looking for another 50% retracement to take the IB high? No, we need to form the IB high. I'm not looking for it to retrace down quite yet. I'll go ahead and get rid of that because we're not in it. I want to see price get up to the current IB high. As it stands right now, our IB is this right here. This is our IB. So we're either going to break it to the downside, then our expansion is going to be half standard deviation, 605, or we're going to break it to the upside. We need to form a new high first, though. So we can't take the high break. We just need to wait and see if it can take a new high prior to 10:30. Even if we break to the downside, it's still going to fulfill the gap fill by size report. So we should have a nice win either way here. I locked out of the Lucid accounts for today. That's why I'm not on Project X. As you can see, locked out personal. 7 hours left on it. And that's because these all qualify for a payout. 28, 342, or 348. $608.43. Guess we don't want to go and make a new high. Another reason I don't really want to take the IB low stat for today. Thursdays are historically bad for this measure. Over 5 years, it's at 71%. But for our 6-month time frame, we only have a 53% chance of taking the low. Either way, we should be fine. We're either going to look for price to hit 50%. Right now, it's a really unappealing IB. We've had 3 candles all inverse each other right now, three $2 candles in a row. If we can get to 50% of it and target lower, great. If we can somehow in the next 19 minutes go and take a new high, even better. But right now we are just sitting on our hands, not anything to do. I also say this stat all the time, and I want to continue to hammer it into your heads. 80% of the moves that happen in the market, 81% to be exact, happen outside of New York trading session. And that was prior to, I think, starting next week or the week after. The market's now going to be 24/5. So 24 hours, 5 days a week, it's going to be open. Who knows where the liquidity is going to go there. There's not going to be any more 9:30 open. It's going to be stretched out liquidity for the entire day. And then pretty soon, I think they want to launch on the weekends as well. But anyway, 81% of the moves happen outside of market trading hours, meaning 9:30 to 4 o'clock. So of that 20%, 19% that were left to trade, I'd say 15 to 18% of that happens during this first hour and a half. So from 9:30 to 11 or 9:30 to 10:30 even. After that, if you guys are trying to trade that 1 to 4 o'clock window, afternoon especially, there's almost no movement. It's just a continuation of what happened in the morning. This is a prime example for each day this week. Even though yesterday we did have a continuation down, that continuation stopped at 11 o'clock. And then after 11, we just went sideways, slightly down in the close. Same thing for Tuesday, same thing for Monday, same thing for Friday last week, and every day before, probably every day going forward as well. All right, we're going to go and form a new IB low. So what we are looking for, and this was the question that you just had there, Predator, we want price to get back up to 50%, and then we want to take a short. When does this 24/5 start? I think it's starting next week. Does anyone know for a fact what the start date on 24/5 is? They just passed it on Monday to 24/5. It is expected to occur in phases throughout 2026 with critical infrastructure changes happening in mid-2026. So never mind. I guess it's not starting next week. Oh, that's for stocks. For futures. Let's see. I think they're changing NQ, ES, and YM next week. So there's not going to be any more 4 o'clock close. There's not going to be any more Well, it's dependent on what the prop firms want to do as well. If you guys are trading on prop firms, but if you are just trading individual, I think it starts next week. So it's just gonna all day, Monday through Friday, and then after Friday it switches to Globex Open on Sunday. Saturday is the only day that we're gonna have a market closure. What are the stats in the orb and NQ? Let's take a look. Screener for Qs. Orb, gap fill, orb, opening range breakout. So right now it's sitting at a breakdown. We've broken to the downside, and that was with that wick that we made at 945. So that's considered a breakdown, even though we only broke it by like 20 cents. This is really unappealing price action right now. Thursday with CPI. Single break. So far, yeah, let's take a look at the double break stat. Has for Thursday, it has a 51% chance having a double break, so as close to 50-50 as it gets. Not really a reason to base a trade off of that, I'd say. The closer the stats are to 50-50, the less likely it is that you're going to find significance or an edge. Exactly why I'm referring to this on Thursday's IB stat. When the highs form first, it's basically 50-50. It's 53-38. So both losing stats in my eyes. Price action in general has a 50-50 chance of going up or down, right? So the closer it is to a 50% stat that you go up or down, the worse it is for you. Everything else is pretty much holding the move. Pretty sure everyone probably saw this yesterday. Bitcoin liquidated like 140 million in longs and shorts within a 30-minute time frame. I have no idea what this type of move was in the open yesterday. 87,000 up to 90,000, and then all the way back down to 87 within 30 minutes. Kind of funny. Same thing that we did yesterday. So I'm gonna be looking for about 6-ish minutes left in this candle. We'll look for price to go up to 50% of the IB, and then we'll look for it to go down. Again, both the 5-minute and the 15-minute time frame, this looks absolutely disgusting for price action right now. 5-minute had a rejection at that pre-market high, London high. 15-minute had a rejection at London high, also had 3 bounces at previous day's 50. So no clear direction right now. It's just up, down, up, down, up, down. It is looking like it's going to go down though. How do you see the 24-hour market affecting stats that we use on Edgeful? Unfortunately, the 24-hour market, and this goes for pretty much every stat that there is, now that liquidity is going to be available, typically it was just your pre-market open, 4 a.m. to 9:30. You had a smaller set of liquidity there. And then your 8 p.m. window, your 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. window, you had a very small set of liquidity there. And then the majority of money came in overnight in most cases during Asia session, or it came in during New York Open. This 60 million average volume that we have on Qs is no longer going to be during the 9:30 to 10 o'clock or 9:30 to 4 o'clock window. Not 10 o'clock, sorry. That 60 million volume is now going to be able to come in anytime throughout the day. 1 a.m. in the morning, 2 p.m. in the afternoon, 3 a.m. in the morning, 7 o'clock at night. So stats that we look at, the opening range breakout that everybody uses. I'm not just saying on Edgeful. I mean, everyone in the space at some point or the other has used the 15-minute opening range breakout. I know for a fact that you have at least seen some kind of influencer use that trade, where you go and mark out the high and the low of the 15-minute candle, and you take a trade based off of which side breaks first. Everyone has used that. That's no longer going to be available because that liquidity is not going to come in at 9:30 like it used to. It can come in whenever it wants. Now, this is just the expectation from me. We could still trade with that 9:30 to 4 o'clock window the same way that we have been. I don't think it's going to be the case. People are going to be able to get in and get out whenever they want throughout the week. There's no reason that they need to sit and wait for that 9:30 open to happen and then move forward from there. So the opening range breakout, honestly, the initial balance breakout, it's probably not going to be as viable once that's put in place. There's going to be a random movement in the market throughout the entire day. It's not going to be set to a defined 9:30 open, 4 p.m. close. So we'll see. There's not really much that I can estimate or guess on, I'd say. We just have to wait and see. It's going to be an entire new market environment, obviously, and no one's traded something like that before. It's kind of disappointing that we're going to be put in that position, but it is what it is. This is looking disgusting. Gross. CPI Thursday. Thursdays are usually the worst day for IB and the IB stat. We have 8 minutes left on this candle. Still want price to get up to right there and then down. The reason that we don't want to take it down here, our IB low, it's currently sitting at 25,162. So if we entered the trade right now, our stop loss would be all the way up at the IB high, 25,328, 120 point stop loss with a $40 or 40 point take profit. So there's no reason for us to skew the data point that much. If we can get up to 7 minutes is a little long on the candle. I do like looking for the IB at that point. The closer it gets to closing, that 15-minute, the better it is. This is a perfect barcode on the 15-minute right now. It's kind of funny. So we want to enter pretty much right there. Stop loss will be there. Take profit will be right there. So that's what we want for an entry. If we can get it, it's as close to 1-to-1 as we can get. That's going to be the IB trade for today. 7 minutes left. So now we can look to get an entry if it does pull back to 50% of the IB. Risk is going to be 83 points. Reward is going to be 85 points. Or 84 and 84. If I can get it right at 1 on the dot. There we go. So there is the IB trade. And that would have filled. Oh, why am I on NQ? Get me over on M and Q, please. Go ahead and copy that. Go over to M and Q. Get rid of that. The only thing that is going to skew this is if we go and make a new high in the next 6 minutes, which is usually why I like waiting until 10:30. But this would be a decent opportunity. This is, obviously I'm not in a trade on this right now. This is just outlining what I would look for typically. So let's see. Let's go ahead and watch it like this. This is going back to, I think, last Wednesday. It's not that we don't trust the data. It's the fact that this is just disgusting price action. There's no reason to get involved in this type of mess. This would be with 1 M and Q as well. So the risk would be 160. The reward would be 160. No, Jeff is not. Still not that. If in the next 5 minutes we go and take a new high, then that's going to switch up what we're taking, and we would completely pivot this. I wish you could rotate it, just mirror it without having to click new long position. But it would look like this instead. That's if we go and take a new high. If we stay where we are right now, then it's still going to play out. I have 4 minutes left in this candle, so it better stay where it is. This is terrible price action to trade. So if you guys are finding yourself stuck in this, don't get too involved. Icky. That trading view just went down there for a second. That's weird. Went shorts, of course. Can I just get one win today? How many losses you at, Dev? If you're over 2, then you just need to stop for the day. There's no reason to continue. So now, if this goes and takes a new high, we want the inverse of what we were just anticipating. But again, I'm going to keep saying this. This is a perfect barcode, and this is not me saying anything because of what I was anticipating or being wrong. This is a perfect barcode. No reason to get in this, even though data is telling us, yeah, we should have gone and taken the low. The IB is not formed yet, so 3 minutes left. And this is up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Even on the 5 minute, we're looking at a W right now. So give it a minute here. Probably going to go and take a new high, new wick high. 610.93. It's 10 cents off right now. Go and delete that. If by some miracle this comes all the way back down to the low and it doesn't go and take a new high, more inclined. I am as well. That the inside bar stats what I was looking for this morning. It should pretty easily go and take a new high. It's 20 cents away with 2 minutes. It's going to be a little close, but inside bar stat, we have a 76% chance of going to previous day's high or previous day's low. I don't know. I wouldn't say it would be a valid long off previous day's 50 because we already reacted at it over 3 times. Anything after 3, it's not valid anymore. And there's a new IB high, so we will switch it up to IB by rejection. We're looking at a low form first. We want price to come back down to 50% if we can, and then go up. We only have a minute 40 left, so it's going to have to be some crazy pivot today. It's a CPI day, Dav, and this price action is awful. So there's no reason to continue trading in this. Completely switched up on the IB now. Oops. Still no trade today. I think we're probably going to break it at the first couple of seconds of that 10:30 candle. Honestly, very happy that I am locked out right now. Not in any trades. Let me actually white and green. I'm going to go and get a picture of what price action is doing for us right now. That looks pretty similar, doesn't it? Have you guys seen this barcode anywhere before? Anyone want to try to scan it? If we get lucky enough, I will figure out how to, I'll take it on a personal account even. If we can get price to come back down to 50% of the IB, we are looking at an 81% stat. It's on a pullback though, so there's no reason. This is, if we entered right now, this is a 10-point break. There's no reason to enter with that larger of a risk. It's icky, icky, icky. 15-minute held over previous day's 50. That could have been something. Could have been an entry. SPY already broke its IB. And Q's is just about to break it. No trades from me today for the first time in a very, very long time. Can't remember the last time I haven't taken a trade for the IB stat. IB's broken on Q's. Womp womp. Oh, did you use that promo code? I think you did. Negative 1.2. Sorry, Dev. Oh, that was disgusting. Oof. Next stat that we'd be looking for, I'm going to go over to IB by levels now, and this should line up with the inside bar stat. We had a breakout today. I think I covered this earlier this morning, but we'll do it again. So it's a breakout for a Thursday. We have a 1 in 3 chance of going up to half a standard deviation, which should be like 613.40. Ooh, 613.26. Very slim chance we go up to that, but that also, with the break up on the IB, that coincides with, was that barcode stuff you're speaking of? You don't see the price that we're getting right now? It could have worked off previous day's 50. 15-minute looks terrible. 5-minute looks a little bit better. 5-minute looks like a pretty clear double bottom with a beautiful neckline break, but I did not get into anything. I was outlining what we were expecting for today. And it was wrong with the first one, which is okay. The IB wasn't formed yet. Plus 531 on the day. There you go, Slayer. How about you, Zoo or Steve? You guys end up taking anything? Down 300, but not the end of the world. Sorry about that, Steve. First no trade day for me in a long, long time. Hit my profit last night, so I guess it does count as a trading day for today, but no trades on the IB. This is down, right back up, down, right back up. And in all honesty, that first thesis, just leaving the stop loss where it was, we never got to close below think we had it looking like that. And the stop loss was $1 from where that previous day's 50 was. And that was right on the opening candle. Nothing. We should be looking for previous day's high, 615 now. 615.60. 615.16. That's previous day's high. That is at 7:45 yesterday, 615.11. That would be the next price target. 45 on Tesla. Bitcoin's back at 89 just about. Up 400, then down 200. I'm done. Back at 79. Might call it a day. That would be wise. IB's done. We have a very slim chance of going to half standard deviation. I would say that we get up to 615.09, 615.11 previous day's high because of the inside bar stat. Waking up at 3 and taking a trade, Steve, from my experience, really sets your day off for a wrong note or bad note. I think I've done that maybe 2 or 3 times. You wake up and you're kind of delusional a little bit. And you enter a trade just for maybe a quick little profit or gamble, and then next thing you know, you're down 70 and starting your day on a red note. Does not help out. I'm sure I was also part of the reason for that further 300 downside because of that short that I put in there, which I am sorry for. This was gross today. Nasty. 15-minute never closed below previous day's 50. That would have been the only trade for today. Any questions from anyone in the stream? Not that good of a day today. SPY is TP on MNQ, wherever previous day's high is, 25,509. We already broke the IB. 25,509 would be the next one. 15-minute time frame, 83-point candle down, 81-point candle up, 80-point candle down, 126 with a continuation of 75 points after. That was a mass stream. Chop City, yeah. IB stat still worked at least. Threw us for a loop there at the beginning, but formed the IB high with 2 minutes left. And then went and took it. 2 minutes into that following candle. Any data support heading to previous day high likely? Yes, Abe. Yes. We have Edgeful inside bar stat. We have a 76% chance of going to previous day's high. Technically not just the 76% chance of going to previous day's high. It's a 76% chance of going to previous day's high or previous day's low. Pretty clearly leaning towards previous day's high. We're up 2%. Rip the Band-Aid off, go up another 0.5%, continue from there. Getting a really nice move on everything else as well. SPY's high is 681.57, so $1.50 left on that, and that is about the same inside bar stat as Q's. 78, actually a little bit better, 79%-ish on SPY. So we should have a continuation up. It breaks the dry streak on a Thursday for a breakout day, kind of. My guess is it's going to take all afternoon. I bet we take the entire 2, 3, 4 hours in the afternoon to get up to that level. And then once we do hit that level, probably just going to do this into close. Something like that. Get off my screen. There we go. Actually, I'll leave that in there. That's the next PT. Going to be previous day's high. Any data where we likely close today? Nothing for indicating a close. Is just this indicating where we should push up to. The only thing that indicates where we might close is the opening candle continuation. Opening candle, first 30-minute opening candle was red. Red by 7 cents. So that's saying that we have a 69% chance of being red on the day. Obviously, that's not going to play out. We're going to have a losing stat today unless some ungodly news comes out this afternoon and we drop 2%. But this is probably just going to trend up and hit 615.03. Yeah, no problem. 25.4 right now. I think another issue, I don't know, are you still in here, Steve? Hopefully you're locked out for the day. Another issue with futures as well. You guys are finding yourself in more trades as opposed to just, and I'm guilty of this all the time as well. That opening long with the target at IBI stop loss $1. That should have been the one trade for today. Let the full TP hit, have the trade develop, yada, yada, whatever it might be. If you find yourself close that and then get into another trade and then close it again and get into another trade, the more exposure you have to the market, the more likely you are going to be red on the day. So just make sure if you guys are finding yourself in extra trades, do not continue trading. All right, let's do another giveaway while we're waiting. This won't be for Edgewell or anything. This will be on my Twitter under Mr. Zinc X. It's going to be a really slow move up in the afternoon. So nothing else for me today. Again, locked out. Up 622 on the day. And this is pretty much all from longs last night. I was entering long and short at that 25,000 level last night, as well as 24.9. That 24.9 ones ended up what did it for me. We had a $400 move, 100-point move up on 2MNQ. I do size up a little bit into Asia session. So we will nothing else to take a look at. Just sit here and wait for the next 14 minutes. I think it's a pretty likely outcome that we have just a chop up until 6:15. So if you guys are in a long or anything, 6:15.11, my voice is cracking so bad today. Long up to 6:15.11, that's the final price target. Small green day. Glad to have it. Best trade for me today would have been to go and get coffee. Yep. That's the barcode we're taking a look at. Okay, there we go. I don't have anything else to take a look at for today, unfortunately. If you guys have any questions on stats you want to take a look at, algos, screener should be bullish for today, or if not, it's 72% bullish. It's pretty good. Quote. Nothing in chat right now. 6:12:08. This is going to be so slow into the afternoon. All right, doing some giveaways on the Twitter. Is it going to be under Mr. Zinc? It's not going to be for Edgeville. This is going to be for the people viewing my stream. 65, 38. All right, I did some 50% off ones this morning. Nothing else to look at. Do you have any stats on hitting both IB high and low? Yes, we do that as the IB by standard report. Go over to Edgeville IB by standard. Sorry, IB by levels. And then I'll pull up just the IB by standard. IB standard we have for Qs on SPY. We have a 18.9% chance of having a double break. 18.9. So as you can see, not very likely that we go and break the downside. It's more likely that we have a continuation all the way up and go to previous day's high, which that inside bar stat is indicating. I might do some put credit spreads. That would honestly be a very good idea with the stats that we're taking a look at. The only thing that could happen today, which is nothing that we can control, the only thing that could happen today that skews all these stats we're taking a look at is going to be, is there going to be some kind of news that comes out this afternoon that drops us by 1%, 2%? Or is there going to be news that comes out this afternoon that pushes us up by another percent? Or are we just going to leave whatever price action we have on the table, leave it that way for the rest of the day and have nasty chop into close? So bored with looking at this. SPY has already taken its stat as well. SPY took it right at that 10:30 open. This one is a lot closer, 681.57. We went and hit 680.58, so less than $1 away from that previous day's high. Any other questions from anyone in here? We have another 5 minutes to go in the stream. If you do not have anything, then we'll just sit here and stare at each other, or really just have you guys stare at me. When it says 18% chance of hitting both IB high and low, do you know how many times in a row that could happen? Yes, it actually does tell you. Well, the 18% measure is just showing you this is how often it happens any given day. It's the same thing as saying a coin flip is 50-50. If you know stats, you know that for consecutive measures, so what's the odds that you flip a coin heads 2 times in a row? 25%, because it's 0.5 times 0.5 happening 2 times in a row. Ideally, it's just 2 different measures, so there's not really anything that you can do to indicate how many times is it going to happen in a row. But what we can see is for the last 5 days down here, single break, no break, which is super impressive because this has only happened 2% of the time. Double break on Wednesday, and then single break. Sorry, double break on Tuesday, single break yesterday. I'm on the TradeAbate sim account. I don't see NQ1, only see NQH 2026. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. We have switched over to March contracts on NQ. So if you guys haven't yet, make sure that you go on to either TradeAbate, TradingView, whatever you're trading NQ on, ES, even switch over to H contracts. That will be March of next year, NQH 2026. That is all we can trade. If you're on M and Q as well, it should look like this: M and Q H 2026 or 26. That is because contracts have been rolled over to March of next year. Yeah, no problem. Steadily climbing, steadily climbing. No way. Kalshi and Polymarket have measures for top step X crashing. That's kind of funny. Do I use any Edgeful and golfing candle reports looking for something after IB report? I do not. The reason that I use the IB, I covered this yesterday. The reason I use the IB, it's the highest percent chance stat on Edgeful. So it's a 97.5% measure, and that is given at the 2% chance that you have no break. So 98 out of 100 days, just about, or 97 out of 100 days, you will have a break of either the high or the low on the IB. That is why it's pretty much the only stat that I use. And then all the other stats that I use, and you're free to go and use whatever you want on Edgeful. You don't have to just use the IB, but that's the reason I use it. 97 out of 100 times, you will have a break of either the high or the low of that first hourly candle. And then I go and use gap fill by size and the inside bar stat to get my bias for the day. Now, the engulfing candles, you can use it. I don't use it because these are relatively small measures on this, 1.3%, 1.6%. That's the max engulfing bullish candle range, max engulfing bearish candle range. For today, we already hit well over the max if we were to go and engulf yesterday's candle, which is impossible because we opened at 602. Now, for tomorrow's price, the max engulfing range is 1.6%. If this candle closes at 1.6%, we have a chance of engulfing this and continuing down. If it closes where it is right now, theoretically, we should not be able to engulf it tomorrow. So I am familiar with all the reports. Even if you're not familiar with them, they're very easy to read. Again, I just use the initial balance one because that has the highest success rate on Edgeful. Not highest individual success rate because you still need to go and get which side of that trade is going to break. But if it has a 97% chance of happening, or at least 97 out of 100 days, you know that you're going to have a break of one of these high or lows. But you essentially anticipate the break of the IB high or low. So what's your optimal entry time? Optimal entry is 50% of the IB. If it's not at 50% of the IB, then you can skew your risk reward. So for what we just saw on the IB, it wicked down. I'll draw it in right here. That was the IB high that we formed. Your optimal entry for today's case, your entry would have been right there at 25,308 if you got the perfect pullback entry, and that means your reward on that trade was 30 points. I typically aim for entries at 50% of the IB. Some days you're not going to get that. Some days you're getting a little unlucky with the way price is moving, like today. We're barcoding. Not really anything we can do about that. We can just either skew our risk reward or not take a trade. No problem. All right, guys, that will do it for the stream today. Hopefully you enjoyed. I will be live again next Tuesday, and that will be it. I will not be live on Christmas Eve. I will not be live on Christmas Day. And I'd probably say the same thing for you if you're planning on trading on those 2 days. Don't do it. And then after that, I will be live on December 30th. Hope you guys have been enjoying the streams. If so, drop a like, drop a follow, wherever you might be joining from. We have 480 of you from my Twitter. We have 150 from Edgeful, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Facebook, whatever it might be. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Peace out.